Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Do I invest? Is water wet? Maybe. I don't know. But what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Rich Get Richard. Got a good one for you today. I don't know what y'all want to talk about, but it is y'all world today. But I always try to talk about politics. I mean, not politics. I always talk about money, and we talk about different stuff. So if you have any questions, I'm gonna give you a quick synopsis, general overview, and then we'll go ahead and get started. If you like what I'm talking about, click the link in the bio, join the free class. It's Wednesday, 9 p.m. EST. Somebody asked because I'm live on multiple stream platforms. I'm live on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, and the YouTubes. Somebody asked, how did I get rich? I started in real estate, and then I got into private equity, and then I got into business acquisition, and then I got into wholesaling, which a little bit before that I got into wholesaling, and then I got to a little bit of syndication, which I didn't do that a lot, and then now I'm kind of, in theory, I'm retired, and it's kind of funny when I was younger and I was investing, I would get people that will say shit to me like, man, you're going to be old. I can't wait that long. What if I'm dead? I don't want my money in the future. I'm gonna be gone. And I was looking at them like, I want you to look at me now, right? I want you to sit back and just physically look at me. Does When you think of retirement or you think of not working for someone else, is is this what you think of? Probably not. You probably think of a 65, 70-year-old guy, you know, probably got a 10, 15 years left. And, you know, you don't want to take a vacation at 65, 70 years old. I can't get around then. I mean, that's what I got. I don't want to take a vacation at 70. I can't even enjoy it. I can't go skiing at 70. I can't hike a mountain at 60, 70. I don't want to go to Europe or Asia or Hawaii at 70. I can't even enjoy that. I want you to look at me, right? Is this what retirement, this is what you think retirement should look like? Because it is. And you can do this. Because when I was 28, I pretty much had negative bank account. I had student loan debt, I had credit card debt, and if I had to add up all the money I had minus the debt, I probably had probably somewhere in the range of negative 30 grand. So if I'm negative $30,000 at 28, now I'm in my 40s, and I have multiple millions of dollars, and I make six figures a month, and I don't have to almost do anything for it. Right? There is some stuff I have to do, but the what I want you to understand is that this process is doable. You could live this lifestyle just like I did, but you have to make some type of sacrifice. You have to understand that it's not going to come to you easy, and you have to understand that this process does not come for those who are like weary or scared. You got to damn just take a leap of faith, you know. But the answer to your question, how did I get rich? I'll kind of do it a little bit slower. I got to real estate, buying single family homes, and then once I started making a decent amount of money, I probably say like 4 grand a month. My objective was to buy a house every $10,000 I saved up. I could buy another house. So I pretty much started buying them every 2 to 3 months, because back then all I had to do was put $10,000 down on $100,000 house, and I could rent it out for $1,200. It really was like $12,000 down on a $10,000 house. and I can rent it out for $1,200. My PITA, property taxes, interest, insurance was, $800. I rented out for $1,200. I make $300-400 a month, and that was my goal. As fast as I can repeat that process, the faster I bought properties. And then I took my profit and I would invest it. I would invest it in stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs, all that kind of crap. And then when that money started getting bigger, then I just buy bigger properties. And then after a while, it started slowly but surely growing. Someone said, do you own any buildings or commercial real estate? So the term building is like a weird word. You really can't say building. It's like a weird word. So all buildings or structure has a proper name, right? So I'm going to put you on a little bit of jargon before we even move forward, right? So all real estate will fall into these categories. One of these categories, you have single family home, right? That's one person in the house, one family. Then you have what's called a duplex. A duplex is two people or two families, right? Then the next one is a triplex or a quadplex. Triplex. That's 3 units under one domicile or one house. That means there's 3 different entrances, 3 different exits, 3 different families. Then you have what's called a fourplex or a quadruplex. That is 4 units, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 units, 4 families, 1 building or 1 structure. When it comes to real estate, you have to, anything 4 units or lower is still considered a single dwelling or a single family home. They're financed as a single family home. They are insured as a single family home, and you get certain benefits from having a single family home. So in theory, you can buy 4 units as a single family home, but it's still considered a single family home, even though you have 4 families in there. Anything over 4 units, so 5 units to 1,000 units, is considered a apartment complex. So you can have 5 units, apartment, 4 units, single family home, or residential home. It's a resident. It's like a single. It's financed under different terminology. So 5 units or more, apartment. 4 units or less is considered a residential home. It's not considered but an apartment or 5 units or more is considered commercial property. So you have 2 different types of commercial property. You have commercial as in apartment complex, commercial as people live there, and then you have industrial, which means that people work out of it. So office space is commercial, but it's not an apartment complex because you don't live there. But you can have one that you ever seen an apartment building that have a unit at the bottom and then a unit up top where you live in? Yeah. So if it's just one family up top, now we're getting to like weird semantics. It depends on how much living space is up there versus how much workspace is at the bottom. I'm not going to get into that, but just note anything that's commercial property that people work out of or 5 units or more, it's financed as a commercial property. So somebody said the term that he or she used, I'm going to go back and get to it. Do you have any buildings? So I'm assuming you're talking about 5 units or more, which is an apartment or a residential or a industrial / commercial building. So I don't do residential real estate, but I do apartment complexes, and I do single family and duplexes and triplexes and fourplexes. because fourplexes, you get financed like a single family home. And but the caveat is, or the up and down about that is, some apartment complexes are financed and contingent upon how much rent they bring in. 4 units, 3 units, 1 unit, and 2 units are based upon what houses are selling for in that area. So comparables. So that's how they work, if you kind of wanted to know that. I hope that kind of answered your question. So whenever you're looking for 5 units or more, you're going to have to look at what rent rates are, and if you can do what's called a rent increase or a value add, or just a rent increase. If you increase the rent, you increase the value of the property. I'll give you a great example. So like, say if there's a 5-unit apartment, right? 5 units or more apartment. You have a 5-unit and it's 5 units, and let's say it's renting out for $1,000 a piece. 5 units, $1,000. That's $5,000 a month, $60,000 a year. You bought that apartment complex because it's 5 units or more. You go and then you raise the rents, and let's say you bought it for $500,000. $1,000 a piece, 5 units, $5,000 a month. It's worth, you bought it for $500,000. Since rents dictate what a property is worth, you can go and say, yo, this property is worth $500,000. Y'all rent it for $1,000 a piece. I'm raising the rents. I'm raising them to $2,000. So now, since that property value, since the rents are worth twice as much, in theory, that property is worth twice as much now. You could literally buy an apartment complex, 5 units or more, and the rents are $1,000. Raise the rents to $2,000. Now your $500,000 property is worth $1 million. Go right back to the bank and say, hey, I want to refinance out of this. This property is worth $1 million now. I got 5 leases for $2,000 a month per lease. And they'll say, okay, cool. We'll give you 80% of what that apartment's worth. You get a check for $800,000. You pay the $500,000 back. You arbitraged $300,000. You take, since that $300,000 is debt, you take the $300,000 and now you can just buy more bullshit, whatever you want to do. Since you don't have to pay taxes on that, because you don't pay taxes on debt. If you refinance out of a property, then that property is, you don't have to pay taxes on that profit. If that makes sense, kind of. But hope you find value in that. Hope you learning something about real estate. Someone says, how do I get rich? All right, I'm gonna put you on game. Someone said, how do I get rich? This the game. All right, I explained this earlier, but you finna get another earful, right? Rich is not a fictitious number. Here we go. So let's go. Let's think about this. How much money do you consider will make you think rich is? So comment. We got a lot of people on TikTok. We got a lot of people on Instagram. We got a lot of people on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. How much money do you think you need to be rich? 500,000, 200,000, $1 million, $1 trillion? What is rich? Let's figure this out. Somebody said, how can I get rich? Well, how can you get something if you don't know what that is? So let's figure it out. Someone said $500,000. Good. Someone said 15 million. $15 million is a rich man or woman. All right, come on, y'all. There's a lot of y'all in here, man. Use that brain for more than a hat rack. What amount of money? Because you have a number in your head, or you should have money in your head, a number in your head, right? You should have money, a number in your head. Someone said $2.2 million. How you come up with that number? I've been thinking about this a while. Someone said $1 million a year. Someone said $200,000 a month, which is $2.5 million a year. $500,000, another $200 million, $22 million. Okay. Someone said $1 million a year. Okay. Since y'all kind of answered the question, what I want you to think about too is, think about it like this. If rich is a number in your head, how do you get to that number? First of all. Second of all, you have to define what rich is before you get to that number. Because that's like me saying, hey, let's go somewhere. Okay, where are we going? I don't know, but I want to go. You know how crazy that sounds? You know how, like, when I put it in that perspective, hey, I want to go. You saying to me, hey, I want to be rich. It's like you calling an Uber and saying, hey, I want to go somewhere. Where do you want to go? I don't know, but I want to go. Sir, I have to know where you're going so we can figure out how to get there. Because if you just get in the car and start driving, you'll go nowhere. You have no destination. When it comes to this money thing, you need to define what rich is. Then you can work backwards, because you can't work on something and you don't know where you're going if you don't even define that, right? Some of y'all said $500,000. Some of y'all said $1 million a year. Somebody said, $500,000 a year. Somebody said 1.2. Somebody said $2.2 million. It don't make a difference. Know your number. Okay? So now, I'm going to give you another lesson that I explained this earlier to somebody else. If you have a number in your head, if your number doesn't make you money, then your number is irrelevant. If I gave all of y'all $1 million, right? It's a lot of people in here. If I gave all of y'all $1 million, how are you going to make that? And I say, okay, cool. I want you to have $1 million. I'm going to give you $1 million, but in 5 years from now, I want you to have more than $1 million. I'm going to tell you straight up, 90% of y'all will be broke within 5 years, because y'all do the same stuff that got y'all broke. So for example, I'm going to tell you straight up, if I gave all y'all $1 million cash, no taxes, no nothing, $1 million, you know what the first thing y'all going to do? The first thing y'all going to do, I already know it, because I deal with people in money all the time. I see people get large inheritance. I see people get lottery money. I meet with celebrities. I meet with influencers. I meet with athletes, and they get a crap ton of money at once, and they do the same shit that middle class and poor people do all the time. First of all, this is what's going to happen if I gave you $1 million cash. First thing you're going to do is pay off all your debt. Pay off all your debt. And let's say, for example, let's say you have $20K worth of credit cards. That'll be gone. Let's say you have no taxes. No, I want no scapegoat. $1 million cash, no taxes. I'm not worried about Uncle Sam on this scenario, right? This is just you. What you would do. You get 20 grand, you're going to spend $20,000 getting out of credit card debt, right? The average American has $23,000 worth of credit card debt or some shit. You're going to pay off the credit card debt, right? So I'm going to keep track of this, right? So $22,000, I'll round it just to make this easier. $20,000 worth of credit card debt, right? Then you're gonna probably get out of more debt, right? Like pay off your car. Let's say you had a car and you owe $20,000 on it, right? You're gonna pay that off, right? So now you 20 more $1,000, right? So boom, that's gone. So now you got 40 grand. You spent $40,000 like that just to get out of debt. All right. So now what you're gonna do? You more than likely, if you don't have a house now, you're gonna buy a house. Okay, I'm about as simple as it gets. Or either you're gonna buy a house or you're gonna pay off the house you have. Right? Buy a house now. A lot of people are chiming in and telling me what they're gonna do. I already know. I see it all the time. So now you're gonna pay off your house. Let's say the average home in America is $400,000, right? You're not going to, buy something crazy, but you're a millionaire, right? So I want a decent home, right? $400,000 will get you a decent house, right? You don't want no house payment because that's for poor people. Buy your house in cash. That means if shit ever hit the fan, I always got somewhere to stay, right? That's the mentality of poor people and middle class people. But we're here. $400,000, $400,000 while on the house, right? $400,000 in the house. All right. So now you paid off your old car, you paid off your credit card debt, you paid off your house, you bought a house for cash, because that's what rich people do, right? Millionaires do. I want no house payment. So boom. What's next? All right. Well, I'm a millionaire now, right? I had this old Honda Accord that I paid off 20 grand, but I want a decent car now. I want my wife to have a decent car, right? So she's gonna get her a nice little SUV, and I'm gonna get me a nice pickup truck, right? What's a pickup truck cost me? 40, 50 grand. What's a nice SUV cost? 40, 50? I don't fucking know. So I'll give you a $40,000 Cadillac or some shit, or Escalade, and another $40,000, $50,000 pickup truck or some shit like that, right? So 80 grand is gone. Boom. 80 grand is gone. 80 grand. But shit, you got $1 million. You spent $520,000. $520,000 on this damn process. Boom. So shit, you got $500,000 left. So what are you gonna do? Shit, I quit my job. My house paid off. My car's paid off. I ain't got no debt. Why am I even working? I'm a millionaire. So I quit my job. Got no income coming in. So I want to enjoy this money, right? So what do? You go out and you take a vacation. I want to go somewhere cool. I ain't never been to Hawaii. I ain't never been to Japan. I ain't never been to Paris. I ain't never been to Africa. That's just cool. I want to go there, right? Let's take the whole family. Me, the wife, the 2 kids. You just don't know. That shit, 10K, maybe 15K. I'll put it at 10K just to make it easier. 10K on the vacay. All right. And then when you get home from your vacation, you're going to do some kind of shopping. You got a fucking brand new house. You want some new furniture. You want some new clothes. Maybe some new jewelry. Some new appliances. So you might drop another 20 grand just in bullshit. But hell, 20 grand worth of bullcrap. Shit, I still got $450,000 left, right? I still got $450,000 left. I'm good. I'm chilling. Then you get your first tax bill on that house. You got insurance on them monster damn vehicles. How much you think that insurance costs? $500 a month? How much you think food costs? $1,000 a month? Water, cable, electricity? You want a gym membership? You might be dropping probably close to $3,000 to $4,000 a month just in life. Just life. So now you're at probably close to like $50,000 just maintenance. Just maintenance of the lifestyle you picked. You picked the home. You still got to pay property insurance. You still got to pay homeowners insurance. You still got to pay HOA, homeowner association, if you live in a decent neighborhood. You still got to pay insurance for your cars. You still got to pay for health insurance. You ain't fucking working. Your kids want to do some extracurricular activities. You got to pay for that. So now you're dropping $50,000 a year. You got $350,000 left, $400,000 left. Property taxes, all that shit. And you know what's going to happen? If you don't get to making some money, you got $400,000 left according to my stuff. Actually, you got less than that. You probably got 6 years at $40,000 a year maintenance. 5 years, maybe 6 on a good year, a good time, if you're getting a little cheap. And that's if you don't take any more vacations. That's if you don't go to Vegas. That's if you don't go to Bora Bora every damn year. That's if you don't take a Hawaii trip every 2 months or 3 months. Because all you're going to be doing is sitting around all day, and you're going to be bored. And you know what people do when they're sitting around bored all day with a shit ton of money? They spend more money. I don't make up the rules. I just know what they are. People sit on their ass all day, and all you're going to do is, I'm almost a victim of it. When I'm not doing shit, I spend more money on junk. So I keep myself busy. I honestly like talking on social media because it keeps me busy instead of me out going spending money on dumb shit. Because once you just have a shit ton of money, you go out here and make a crap ton of money, all you're going to do is sit on your phone, and you're like, that looks cool, Amazon. That looks fun, Amazon. That looks cool, eBay. Man, I like these new Jordans, eBay. StockX, or whatever the fuck's going on. So once you get into that consumption, I got the money, I got $500,000, $300,000, all you're going to do is start spending money all the fucking time. Man, I'm bored. I want to go on vacation. Man, I'm bored. I want to go catch a game. Man, I'm bored. I want to go to Disney World. Man, I'm bored. Let's go take a mini vacay. Yeah. Yeah. You'll be broke in 5 years. And then what's going to happen? Your house is paid for. Now you got to get a job just to maintain your lifestyle. And what did we learn here, people? What did we learn? If I gave you $1 million and in 5 years from now, you got to go back to work, is that rich? Rich people don't work, do they? Or don't they? It's kind of a weird spin on your mentality or your logic. Once you understand that if you're not making money constantly every month to cover your expenses and your lifestyle, then you will always have to worry about life. So let's flip it and reverse it. Let's say we took that $1 million and instead of paying off our debts, paying off our car, buying a house cash, buying 2 cars cash, taking a vacation, and all of the other kind of crap. Let's say we took that $1 million and we just bought a business cash. And let's say that business is bringing in I'm going to make the number easy. I'll say $360,000 a year. Let's say you bought a donut shop or a gas station or a Krispy Kreme or a Dunkin' Donuts or a laundromat or a healthcare spa, nail salon. I don't give a fuck what it is. You bought a business, and that business is bringing in $365,000 a year to you. $360,000 a year divided by 12 months in a year. That's $30,000 a month. Okay? You take that income from that business and you go to the bank and you say, hey, bank, I want to buy a $1 million home. They say, cool. That $1 million home payment is going to be about $10,000 a month. Cool. I make 30. So now, out of your 30, $10,000 is going to your house payment. Hey, bank, also, I want to buy my wife an Escalade and I want to buy me a pickup truck. Well, your payments on those are going to be about $2,000 a piece. Cool. So I make $30,000 a month. So $2,000 a piece, that's $4,000 a month. Hey, bank, hey, let me see what else I need. I made $30,000 last month. I got me a house. I got me a couple cars. So after that, I still got $16,000 left. So now with that $16,000, let's say I want to buy a boat. Cool. Someone said a boat. What other things you think you could buy? Right? Let's say a boat. Let's say the boat payment is another $2,000 a month, right? So now I'm at $16,000 payments, but I make $30,000. So I have another $14,000 a month, right? So I said my expenses is about $5,000 a month, right? So I'll factor in another $5,000, right? So another $5,000 in payment. So I have $9,000 left. And let's say I took a vacation to Disney that month, right? But you gotta do that every month. And let's say that was $3,000. Let's say I went on another shopping spree. I spent $1,000, right? I still got $5,000 left. And then you know what happens? Next month, I repeat the process. Then I get another $30,000 and then another $30,000. I have, instead of a $400,000 house, I have $1 million house. And instead of a Tahoe and an Escalade and a pickup truck, I can get a damn near Lambo truck or some shit. You can get a real car, right? You can get an Audi or an Aston Martin or something or whatever, because you can afford it. Your business is bringing in, $30,000 a month of income to you. You take that income, and then if you want to be cheap, you want to buy a Prius, you want to buy any of that shit, you can just be cheap and buy all that stuff, But you have the options. When you have $1 million of cash and you start blowing your money, because every month you have expenses, and all your money's gonna do is this: trickle down, expenses, cars, houses, insurance, taxes, flat tire, somebody sick, hospital bills, and it's gonna keep going down and down and down. But you buy something that produces you income every month, it's like this: ching, tick, 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 tick. Houses, cars, insurance, bills, paycheck, business income, houses, cars, insurance, taxes, kids, flat tire, business income. It's just gonna keep going down. And you're gonna keep going through this cycle. And then eventually Some months you might not have a problem. Some months you're not going to take vacation. Some months you're not going to go out and go on a shopping spree. Because I'm going to tell you something that's cool and crazy about shopping sprees. If you do them every like 2 months to 3 months, you going to go back to the same stores that you've been buying at, and you'll be like, wow, I already bought all this shit. It's all the same stuff. I don't need anything. And then your closet gets like ridiculously big, and then you're not going to need any of that stuff. So it's just a different mindset. Buy stuff that makes money. If you want to be rich, know what you're going to know your expenses, shoot for that. If you want an Escalade and you want a Dodge 1500, how much are those payments? $2,000 a piece? Cool. You need to make at least $4,000. How much is $1 million house? The payment is $10,000. Cool. So I need to make at least $15,000 from a business or real estate that I buy. $15,000 is about $120,000 a year. If a business is doing 1/3 or 33% margins, that's a $300,000 business. That is a $300,000 business. All right, I'll say about $400,000 business. The SBA allows you to buy a business with 10% down. So if I bought a $400,000 business that's doing 33% margins, which is $130,000 of income a year, $400,000 business at 10% down is $40,000. So you can buy a business that makes you twice as much as your income with $40,000. And this is where it gets good. Where are you going to get the $40,000 from? You can take out a line of credit. You can borrow from your 401k. You can do syndication through friends and family. You can get a private money lender. You can go to hard money lenders. There's multiple ways to buy and get money for businesses. Multiple ways. Multiple. You just got to want to do it. Someone says, I can come to you and work out a deal. You know, I always told myself I don't work with people because I don't want my expectations or your expectations to be. But I can show you everything you need to do for this process to work. You can do the same thing with real estate. You can do the same thing with business ownership. You can do the same thing with Turo. You can do the same thing with Airbnb. You just need to figure out the process. So someone said, I need help. Okay, cool. So if you want to learn more about this process, click the link in the bio or go to therichgetricher.com, which no one ever does. Just click the link in the bio. It'll take you to a link and it'll say, be your own boss. Click that. Sign up for the free class. The free class is on Wednesday, 9 p.m. EST, if you want to know more about the process, right? But we talk about buying businesses that are absentee. So I'll even break down that process. So when you buy a business or you look into a business, there's pretty much 3 ways that you can do it. You can start a business. And you don't want to start a business. If you Google the failure rate of a startup, it's like 91%. You have lack of knowledge, lack of resources, lack of funds, lack of a customer base. You spend a year doing a build out. So you go and find a location. You got to prepay your rent. Then you got to do what's called a build out. So you got to take all this stuff and fill it up. You got to come up with menu. You got to hire staff. You got to hire a manager, and you ain't made a dime. You $100,000 in the hole, and you don't even know if the proof of concept is going to work. But you have an idea, and hell, you know, maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. But if I don't want to start a race running backwards. When you say go, I'm gone. But with a startup, as soon as you start, you running backwards because now you got to go get funds. You borrow money to prove a concept that no one knows, to put a restaurant or a boutique or something that no one's never heard of. And you got to work on customer service, customer loyalty. You got to work on advertisement. You got to work on getting reliable employees. You got to work on a menu. You got to do a build out. You got to do getting all your leases and shit. That stuff's trash. It's trash. I don't know why anybody would start a business. I think, you know what? I know why people want to start businesses, because people like I'm an entrepreneur. I built this from the ground up. I don't give a damn about building shit from the ground up. That doesn't concern me. You know what concerns me is if I buy something on Friday, I want a check on Monday. That's what I want. And you can do that if you buy a process that already makes money. If the business is making money, cash flowing, it's got systems in place, it's got teams, it's got management, it's got operations, it got advertisement. You don't have to do anything. People sell businesses all day long. There's about 11 million businesses for sale in the United States of America right now. 11 million. Which breaks down to, off the top of my head, well, I'll do the math real quick. If there's 11 million businesses for sale, that's 220,000 per state on average. Now, some of the bigger states might have a little more, but that just lets you know how many businesses are out there. And then this is where it gets crazy. About 11% of those businesses will close down because no one's there to buy them. The kids don't want it. The family can't work there forever. They want to retire. So if no one don't buy it, they'll just close the door. They've already made their money from it. You know? So you have to start thinking about this stuff. Next process is real estate. People always going to need a place to live. Always. And my personal opinion, it's almost like the American dream is dying, people. People can't afford a down payment. People barely can afford the damn rent. So if people aren't buying homes, they're still gonna need a place to live. It's inevitable. You're gonna have to have a place to live. Either you can shack up with somebody else, or you can rent your own place, right? But we live in this society where people think, oh man, I don't want to live with anybody else. That's beneath me, bro. It's getting rough out here. Rent's going up, cost of living's going up, and you can benefit from that. I've damn near doubled my rent on my hundreds of units. Damn near double. I have an apartment complex. When I bought my apartment complex, the rent was $400 for a 2-bedroom, 1 bath. It's in a smaller town. That's like, damn, that's cheap. Now my rent is almost $1,000. And then if you've been paying attention, your value of your property in apartments is contingent upon what you're getting in rent. So if I was charging $400, let's say my apartment complex was $1 million. And I'm charging $400 in rent for $1 million apartment. If I double the rent, what does the value go up to? The 6th grade math, people. If my rent was $400, if rent in an apartment complex is directly correlated to the value of the property, if my rent goes up, then my value goes up. If my rent value is $400 and I raise it up to $800, I paid $1 million. It's probably worth about a couple $1 million now. So not only am I going up with inflation, my value's going up too. So I can go get a refinance. This is where it gets good too. I can go get a refinance. Hey, I bought this property for $1 million. My rent was $400. I raised all my rents to $1,000. What is this property worth now? Well, there was 400, now there 1,000. This property worth about $2.2 million. Deal. I want to do a refinance. Well, why wouldn't you sell? If I sold it, it triggers a taxable event. If I sold my taxes, if I sold, I owe capital gains tax on the sale of that property. If I refinance is debt. Debt, you do not have to pay capital gains taxes or taxes on. So if I refinance at 75% of $2 million, that means I get a check for $1.5 million. And let's say I owe 800 grand on it. $1.5 million minus my 800 thou wow. I keep the difference tax free, $700,000. And I get more in rent. This process is doable, people. This process is really not that hard. You just got to want to do it. You got to learn how to do it too, right? Like I said before, I'm hosting a free class Wednesday, 9 p.m. EST. Click the link in the bio or click above. Click my name. Go to whatever site you see. And then it'll say a class that say Be Your Own Boss. Sign up and I'll see you there. Like I said before, I don't sell you information. I don't do any of that other stuff. You come to the class, you learn. If it sounds like something you're interested in, we move forward. If not, I hope you learn something, because the value I'm giving you now for free is going to be the same value I'm going to give you there, right? Because it don't make me no difference, right? I already got mine. I've been doing this for 17 years now. And just like that real estate deal I just explained to you, I do stuff like that all the time. I just bought a house last week, a couple weeks ago. Same thing. Owner finance, the property was extremely undervalued. I put 30 grand into it, or I'm going to put 30 grand into it. And the value of it is going to increase a lot. And then I'm going to refinance it, cash out all that money, pay all the debts off, put a tenant in it. Now I have 70, 80 grand worth of equity in it. That's the game, people. At least the real estate game. Oh my goodness. Someone said, if you join the community, it's well worth it. You get the amount of gain you get is well worth it. Thank you, sir. I'm glad that people find value in that stuff, because I'm telling you, man, I don't sugarcoat anything. I don't hold no. When it comes to that type of stuff, I don't hold back. I don't like it. It doesn't benefit me to gatekeep. Like I don't care, right? My objective is to get you to your goal, because I've done it. And when I was coming up, there really wasn't no people out there that was kind of talking about this stuff. There was, but there was either they was like limited in their resources, limited in their game, and limited in their knowledge. And you know, just like anybody, when I was coming up and I was learning like real estate and business acquisitions and wholesaling and that kind of stuff, you got to pay to play. So I would go and learn all this information from these people, but it was almost like I had a piece of the puzzle. And after I would go acquire that piece from the puzzle, I would step back and be like, okay, cool, I kind of see what's going on here. And then I would go acquire another piece of the puzzle, and then I'll put it in. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, this person's good at wholesaling. This person's good at Section 8. This person's good at syndication. This person's good at fix and flipping. This person's good at Burr method. This person's good at buying a business. This person's good at Turo. This person's good at vending machines. And I would go and learn all this stuff from all these different people. And then one day I just sat back and I was like, holy shit, I can see what I'm doing now, right? And it just started making sense. Like when I see people on social media and they be saying this and saying that, as soon as I get to seeing them, I'm just like, yo, bro, it's bullcrap. Okay, I'm gonna put y'all on another piece of mindset too. And if y'all want to say the people's name, I don't care, because like I said, I don't give a shit. Have you ever been watching a person on social media and their information is it's not practical. It's just words. Have you ever seen that? Am I tripping? I don't know if you've seen that before, but you ever watch like a motivational speaker or a financial guy, but they'll be talking, but they're not saying anything. They'll just be saying stuff like, "You gotta want it. You gotta dig within. You got to, you know, whenever you start not worrying about the outside world, your inside world will start to change," and just shit like that. And you're listening to them talk, and you're just like, "Cool, bro, I'm there. What I need to do?" Right? It's not practical. It's not applicable. You can't take that and use it, because you could be the most motivated person in the world. If that information doesn't serve you or do you any justice, you can't do nothing with it. So what's the point of even having it? Right? Motivation is cool. I think everybody needs motivation here and there, but there's nothing there. There's no subject, no subjectivity. It's no, this is how you do it. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. This is how you do it, right? And if anybody want to work with me, I'll tell you straight up. Hey, sit your ass down. This is how it's done. A, go here. B, do this. C, look at this. 4, if you want to go this option, go this way. If you want to go that option, go this way, right? It's none of this motivational mumbo jumbo. You got to have heart. You got to want it. You got to, no. You want to buy a business? Let's talk about businesses. You want to talk about real estate? Let's talk about real estate. You want to talk about Turo? Let's talk about Turo. These are the best sites. These are the best cars to have. These are the best way to do it. Here, I'll give you a Turo play for free right now if you want one. Boom. If you want to get on Turo and maximize your amount, new cars suck. Don't buy a fucking new car for a good payment. Buy you a used. So the stipulations on Turo is that it has to be 12 years. It can't be no older than 12 years. And it can't have over 130,000 miles. 12 years, 130,000 miles. So what do? You do what's called some market research analysis. So you go out and you search cars in your area. Go to Turo, type in your city, and then start from the cheapest cars, right? Because those cheaper cars are what's going to make your bread and butter. Like a lot of people think, oh, I need to get me an Escalade. I need to get me a Porsche. I need to get the Lamborghini. I need to get a damn Hellcat. No. You don't want to hit a home run. You want to hit a lot of singles. A lot of singles. Go get you a whole bunch of Hondas, a whole bunch of Sentras, a whole bunch of pickup trucks, a whole bunch of Jeeps, that type of shit. Everyday cars. Because when people car fuck up, they don't want a damn Hellcat. They don't want to rent a Hellcat for $150. They want them a little ass Honda for $30 a day. Because they don't know how long their car. Yeah. Sprinter vans, cargo vans, that type of shit, right? And then you find them shits as cheap as possible. Well, how do you find cheap cars? You look for cars with the highest amount of miles, right? Like, so for example, I'm in Florida. You know what a lot of cars rent in Florida? Vans. Because a lot of fucking families go to the beach. And a lot of families go to Disney. And a lot of people go to Miami and they go to the beach there. Or they go to these springs here. So vans and families, it's what you kind of want. Or SUVs. What kind of SUVs you say? Ones that have at least under 12 years old and have less than 120, 30,000 miles. Now, if you go out and get a brand new Escalade or some shit, that's going to be $60,000, right? Your payment is $1,000 and your insurance is going to be $500. You $1,500 in the hole every month. Or you go get you a 11-year-old minivan with 100,000 miles. That's just going to be $6K. $6,000. Let's say you do it with your income taxes, or you put it on a line of credit, or put it on a credit card or something. You buy $6,000 cash. Your payment on the credit card is going to be $200 plus $100 worth of insurance. You $300 a hole in a month. What's worse, $1,500 that you got to make up, or $300 you got to make up. You rent that shit out for $40 a day, a week. You got your money back plus. Go to Facebook Marketplace and buy these things all day long. Now you can have a whole fleet of cars bringing you $30, $40, $50, $60 a month versus one fucking Escalade or one Hellcat or one Lambo that you rarely rent out. And when you do, it's $1,500. The person going to rent it for 2 days. And then you worried about them destroying your damn car. You got a 10-year-old minivan with 100,000 miles. I don't give a shit if they're doing donuts in the parking lot of Walgreens. I don't give a shit. You got a damn Hellcat. You worried about them stealing the shit. You got a Lambo. You worried about them stealing it and scratching it. You got a damn Honda Fit. You don't care. Hey, man, you got a scratch on it. Give me $20 and I'll go bump it out real quick. Now, you want to look cool or you want to be rich? You want to look cool or you want to be rich? Because that's the difference. A lot of people want to do some of this shit to be rich. Some people want to do this shit to look cool. I'm not in it for the cool factor. I don't give a fuck about that. I don't give a damn what you think about me. You know what they're going to be doing? They're going to be judging my ass. You know what they're going to be judging me from? At work. On the way to work. Damn, that's an ugly ass car. You know what? I'm taking it to somebody else so I'm going to drop it off so I can make $40 a day. That's where. Now, if you found value in that stuff, give me a random emoji. I don't give a damn what emoji it is. Because I want you to know that a lot of people would charge you. They would charge you a $300 course to teach you that. Somebody would charge you $300 to give you that information on a course. I told you that for free, just sitting here. And that's the difference between some of these guys out here. They are going to try to give you a piece of the information or they're going to try to charge you for it, right? But a lot of this stuff, I'll hook you up. I don't care, right? I've already got mine, like I said. And a lot of times I want people to go out there and apply some of this information. Because once you go out there and apply it, and I'll give you some game here and there, but when you go out and you see other people doing this, and you see other people out here making money doing this, you like, well, damn, this motherfucker, he wasn't playing. He was telling the truth. Hell, look, I'll give you another play about Turo. Free. Go to Facebook Marketplace, add yourself to every Turo group, or at least 3 of them. When you do that, when you add yourself to them Facebook Turo groups, go in there and say, in y'all opinion, what's the best type of cars to buy and how much should I be looking for to spend in those cars? Or say, what kind of cars do you have, how much you spent on it, and how much do you rent it out for? Because people love to brag about how they do some shit. I'm in California. I have a Honda Civic. I rent it out for $30 a day. I have a Hellcat. I rent out for $200 a day. I probably rent it out 10 times a day or 10 times a month. I have a Honda Civic. I have a minivan. I can't even keep that shit rented. I can't keep it in. I'm in 5 groups. See? And you learn from other people who are doing that type of stuff. But hey, I gave you that for free. That's just Turo play, which I know people that make a decent amount of money on Turo, but it's not my thing. It's not my thing. Well, I got a couple cars on Turo, but it's not like that. They barely rent. You know, they rent enough to pay for themselves, but that's about it. A lot of times I have the dates blocked out because I don't want to deal with it. Me just being lazy. But yeah, people, if you are interested in learning more about Airbnb, like we talk about it all. Like we focus on in this process with me. You focus on the four pillars: credit, personal credit, business structure, LLC, EIN, S corp, C corp, business email, business address, all of that shit. Business credit, business funding, trade lines, Dun and Bradstreet, Dun scores. If you want to get into that stuff, we can. And that's one system, right? If you perfect all four of these, you'll be rich for life. Perfect and implement them. Perfect and implement them. Second system or second tier is investing. What are you investing your money that you earn, right? You can go out there and buy 1,000,000 businesses. You can go out there and buy 1,000,000 properties. But when that money comes in, what are you doing with it? Are you taking that money and living off of it? Or are you trying to grow lifetime generations worth of money? Like, I'm sure y'all heard of like the Rockefellers, the Vanderbilts, the Rothschilds, the Bernanke family, and that kind of stuff like that. Those families invested into a market, the stock market, maybe oil, maybe the private sector, maybe commodities. They invested in something. And those companies made them so much money, then their interest starts making them more money. And then their interest makes interest, they make interest to make interest to make interest. And now their kids and grandkids and their grandkids and their great-great-grandkids are the beneficiary to those funds, which makes them trust fund babies. They put all their money in a trust. The trust pays them interest, and then they live off the interest. It's a simple process that you can learn how to do, you know. But what type of investments do you have? What kind of family lineage do you want to invest in? What type of family, what type of inheritance do you want to leave your kids, if any? You know, everybody wants their kids to be better off than they are, right? And if you don't, then maybe I'm not for you. But everybody in here should want better for their kids, right? And you got to start setting that stuff up. You got to start setting up your trust. You got to start setting up your investments. Set up your accounts so your kids, whenever they do get their inheritance or they get some money, if any, then that money will make them money, would make them then make them money, and then make them money. You have everything you need to offset your family lineage. If you are listening to this message and you understanding the words that are coming out of my mouth, that means you have cell phone service, you have a computer, you have internet, and you have access to me, right? I could teach you everything you need to set up the next 10 years of family generation. Takes the next 10 generations of your family. So your great grandkids would be like, yeah, how the fuck, how the hell you get all this money? Oh man, I had one of my great grandfathers. His name was Mr. Richard. He set up this trust. He put it into a whole bunch of different funds, and that fund pays us a interest dividend of like 12% a year for the rest of our lives, and it's like almost $50 million in there. So we get like a check for $5 million a year every year for the rest of our lives. Damn, that's crazy. I wish I was that lucky. They can be. They can be. You just gotta want to do it. You just gotta want to set it up. Right? And the next thing is ownership. Ownership of processes that make you money while you're sleeping. Turo, make you money while you're sleeping. Airbnb, make you money while you're sleeping. Absentee businesses, make you money while you're sleeping. Franchises, make you money while you're sleeping. All of these things you need to start putting your money into. And then the next one and the last one is real estate. First your home, then single family home, duplexes, quadplexes, fourplexes, apartment complex, commercial, Airbnb, Section 8, syndication, wholesale, bird method, bird dogging, bandit signs. It don't make a difference. It don't make a difference. You focus on those 4 things, you'll be bulletproof. Okay? Focus on those 4 things, bulletproof strategy. Because that covers up 95% of the market, right? And if you wanted to get into some other stuff like crypto or day trading, but that's on you. It's not my thing. Get to a couple questions before I got to bounce. Someone said, what about Chef Corps and business trade lines? Oh my goodness, here we go. Okay, so Chef Corps and Shell Corp, a lot of people always confuse them. A Shell Corp, like turtle shell, is when you hide stuff. That's a Shell Corp, like a turtle shell. Then you have a Chef Corp, it's like you have an LLC or a S Corp or a Chef or S Corp, sole proprietorship, or a C Corp that you put on, like someone started it years ago and they don't use it. They just have it and they put it on the shelf and it sits there for years. And then one day they take it off the shelf and then they try to sell you it. Okay, here you go. Here's a Chef Corp. It has business age and it shows that this business has been around for 20 years. So when you go to the bank and you say, hey, bank, I got a 20-year-old business. I need money. Give me the funds. And they say, no problem, sir. No problem, Mr. Richard. You got a 20-year-old business? Sign you right up. Here you go. Zane, right? Wrong. That method used to work 2017, 2018, 2019, maybe 2020. But the banks got hip to that shit because you know why? Us black folks did up for everybody, right? So what happened is people just go, oh, let me go buy a Chef Corp. It's 20 years old. Then they go to the banks and say, hey, I got a 20-year-old business. Okay, cool. Here's a check. Here's a line of credit. Here's a business credit card. 20,000, 15,000, 30,000. And then you go to multiple banks. Now you can raise $50,000 to $100,000, but you don't have no fucking money. You don't have no income. So you got $100,000 and no way to pay for the $100,000. And you know what people do when they start getting $100,000 worth of shit? Back to what I was saying about trying to start a business. Okay, cool. Let me go out here and get a lease. Let me go out here and go ahead and do a build out. Let me go ahead and try to hire employees. Let me go ahead and try to hire staff. Let me go out here and try to make a menu. Let me go out here and do some advertising and marketing for a process that I don't even know exists, but I got $100,000, so I got to try to make this money work. So now you're $100,000 in the hole from a trade line and a Chef Corp that's how you got the money, and now you got $100,000 in debt from a business that you didn't even know that's going to work, trying to proof of concept that you have no clue about, and hiring employees and staffs and managements and teams and internet and all this other kind of shit, and ain't made a dime yet. And that credit card statement is going to come. They'll say, yo, you owe me $1,000 and you ain't made no damn money. So boom, you default. And then you can't afford everything else. You can't afford your employees, so they quit. But you try to go in there and run it yourself because you know you can save yourself money. Now you in that shit 60, 70 hours a week. But you can't even afford advertising to get people to come to your new business that you started. And the shit collapsed. You owe the lease guy 10 years. You owe the bank $100,000. And now you worse off by starting this fucking Chef Corp. Congratulations. You played yourself. But, and that's if that technique even works. But you don't anymore, because banks want you to personally guarantee debt now. Meaning they are going to pool your personal credit for that debt now. So now there's two people that walk into a bank. There's a guy with a Chef Corp. Chef Corp. That's 20 years old that don't make any money with shitty credit. Then there's a guy who has a LLC, S Corp, C Corp that has great credit. He make 800 credit score, and his LLC, S Corp, C Corp, or sole proprietorship is a month old. Now, who do you think they're going to give that money to? A business that's been around for 20 years that don't make any money with a person that owns it has shitty credit? Or a business that's a month old that doesn't have any money coming in, but the person has great credit? The answer is the good credit person. So I'm not going to get too much into the trade lines thing. It's kind of the same thing. You're just adding trade lines to your account to make your credit look stronger than it actually is. But it's almost like putting 24-inch rims on a box Chevy with a bad motor. It don't make a difference. If that motor's trash, the car ain't gonna work, right? I'd rather put $3,000 into a new motor with no rims than put $3,000 rim on a car with a bad motor on it. Same thing with trade lines. But if you want to learn more about that process, that's why I'm here. I hope you're getting value from this. I hope you're learning. But I'm not gonna stay here too much longer. I got some stuff to do. But like I said, click the link above or wherever you are and come to the free class. It's at Wednesday, 9 p.m. EST. It's called Be Your Own Boss. Come through, and you want to discuss more of this stuff, because I can talk about money all day long. I almost talk to my like esophagus, throat hurts, because I feel like it's like an art form. When I speak, I have to like talk a certain way. I have to like enunciate and pronounce my words. I'm really country and twangy naturally, but when I talk more like in a public speaking environment, I project my words a little differently, and it kind of hurts my stuff. That's why I kind of take sips on my water and stuff every once in a while. But it's part of the game, right? But hope you find value in this. Hope you learn something. But like I said, come to the free class, 9 p.m. on Wednesday, EST, and we can talk more about this stuff, and you can learn more about the process of how you can go out here and buy businesses. You go out here and buy real estate. You go out here and fix your credit. You can go out here and get trade lines. You go out here and get business funding. You go out here and get business credit. You go out here and learn how to invest, right? Because nobody out here to me is teaching like almost everything, right? I'm almost the jack of all trades, right? And if I want, and I almost mastered some, but any type of avenue that you want to go down, I can get you kind of to the promised land, right? But if you want to learn more about the process, like I said, click the link in the bio, join the free class. But for now, I wish you adieu. Avidazan. Please make sure you at least give me a follow if you're on social TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, all that kind of stuff. Appreciate you being here. Later, dude.